All right, I just wanted to do a wrap up of this Hitbox welder. It is the cheapest TIG setup that I could put together, and I thought I'd go through it. And there's lots of pros, some cons, depending on how you view it. So this is an inverter stick welder, and it has a lift TIG function. The model number is T2000. It can run off 110, 120, as well as 220. I have had a lot of TIG welders before. This is a Everlast TIG 185. I've had a Miller Dynasty. I have never seen anything like this. It comes with its own 120 to 220 adapter. Usually you have to wire up your own whip to make something like this. So it's all already wired up and you just got to put the adapter on and you're set to go. It is amazing. If you're interested, this is called let's see here. It says N650P. Like I said, I've never seen anything like this. You probably have, but this is new to me, this adapter. So this machine can go up to 200 amps. So before we get to that, let's just talk about what you might want to use this for. What I was hoping to use this for is hopefully use it cordless, maybe run it off some lithium power supply, and just to do small tack welds, like on exhausts or other smaller stuff like that. It is a tiny machine. Look at that, just as big as my hand, weighs nothing. And this, with the TIG torch setup, is super lightweight and would be awesome to use just as a portable TIG. So if you're buying this to work on your car or truck, first thing is you want to weld like some roll cage or roll bar. This will easily do 095 wall, 120 wall, 188. It will do it no issue. It has tons of power. Compared to the other machine I reviewed a couple of weeks ago, it has way better amperage control. The other machine had very, very poor amperage control. All right, so even though it has very good amperage control, let's check out how low you can turn the amperage down. So this is an Everlast machine turned down to 35 amps, and you can see it has amazing control. And this is the Hitbox. It's turned down to 45 amps, and it is fusing with no filler. And you can see here, it's fusing, fusing, fusing. And then for whatever reason, it's almost like somebody cranks the amperage knob and the amps go way up and it blows out the weld right at the end there. I'm really not sure what the issue is with that. It really has poor control under 50 amps. You start off okay, and then all of a sudden the arc just blows out, grows, and you have to lift off and stop. Again, looking at the Everlast machine, you can see how much better the control is at 35 amps. And it doesn't have that issue where the arc just grows and blows out the weld. This is 16 gauge, so it's not even that thin. So if you want to fuse like 50 amps and below with the Hitbox, I don't think it's going to work out that great from my experience trying it here. All right, the Hitbox was able to weld this plate onto here with the bearing screwed in place. And if you don't know, this acts like a big heat sink, so it will draw a lot of heat. Maxed out, this Hitbox machine was able to do this really without any issue, with no preheat. Now you're going to have to excuse me because it's been a long time since I TIG welded. as well. I am not used to the lift, the lift TIG, but not so much the starts, but the stops are something that is totally different from high frequency starts and stops. So this is no preheat, maxed out 200 amps. It is even undercut a bit, which is incredible for a $100 machine. This is with preheat. So with some heat from the like map gas torch on the plate, this is with preheat. So I think you can get away with a lot of stuff with this machine if you're, you know, comfortable doing preheat. And even if you're not doing preheat, like, this is really unbelievable to me for $100 that's able to do this. So that is pretty cool. So definitely thinner gauge materials and lower amps. It's not that great. Thicker gauge, you want to weld up some bumper bar or like rack for your truck. This can definitely do it, no issue. Now this isn't a welding channel, there are 10 of them, but I rarely ever see anyone review one of these machines used as a TIG. Usually they just review them using them as a stick. So I'm gonna go through some of this stuff. I bought this torch to go with it from Amazon. It was around $50. This machine doesn't have a gas solenoid, so you manually have to crank the gas, open and close, and for sure that's going to screw you up a couple of times until you get used to it. I think even when you get used to it, you're going to forget to open the gas and you're going to have to grind out your weld. This torch, surprisingly, I didn't think there would be much big difference in torches, but at $50, I would say this torch, the quality does not seem to be that great, the way stuff screws together. I was not even sure if it's leaking a bit. You can really tell the difference between one of these like CK torches versus one of these. I didn't think there'd be much of a difference, but just the way everything goes together, there definitely is. But it works, and it was able to do all this with really no issue. Now, if you're first time wanting to learn TIG welding, I would say that this machine with its lift TIG function is probably a lot harder to learn on than if you just spend a little bit extra and get something with the high frequency. The lift TIG, if you have experience, I think it works out a lot better than if you don't have experience. The learning curve doing the lift TIG and stopping the lift TIG is, I think, a lot steeper than just using something with the high frequency where you can start the arc in the air versus having to touch the tungsten, lift off, initiate the arc, and then to break the arc you got to like flick the torch. With this one, every time I flicked it, you end up getting all these kinds of pinholes in the arc running away. So it's really not something I'm experienced with. A lot of people are. I'm just not that experienced with it. Especially here at the corners, I find I don't have that much control stopping the arc.